Target panic and buck fever go hand in hand. If you go to the range and you punch the trigger in your training, in your practice, you are literally practicing your own failure for high stress events. Because when you get in a high stress event, it's going to get more and more and more elevated. Your adrenaline's going to be up. You're going to become ultra efficient. So if you're used to punching the trigger as soon as your pin gets on the target, likely that it's going to happen when you shoot at a big buck, you're not quite going to get your pin exactly where you want it before you go punch on that trigger. Again, you've literally practiced your own failure. So when you're at the range and you are training and the stakes are low, make sure that you are solidifying your blueprint. Doing those 4 jobs. I'm going to draw back and aim, then I'm going to address the trigger, then I'm going to say, here I go, then I'm going to talk myself through the movement. And then you blueprint that shot so that you know exactly how you're going to shoot that shot in any situation. There will be times when punching the trigger is actually required. Like if that buck is walking past you at 5 yards, get your aim where you need it and you can go open loop on the trigger. But if that buck is standing out there at 35 yards and you punch the trigger, you're not going to hit where you think you're going to hit. And even if you do, even if you get lucky, you just made yourself exponentially worse for the next shot that happens in the woods. So when you shoot a controlled shot on a game animal and you truly blueprint it, it's very powerful. It's very powerful to know how you're going to shoot a shot every hunt that you go on. You've reduced the mystery. You've completely eliminated the mystery from your shot. You know exactly how it's going to go. And again, that is a very powerful thing. So when you're out there dealing with buck fever, maybe you're up in the stand and you're shaking like crazy, all that means is that you're having physiological changes that you have no control over. So don't try to control those things. What we can control, however, is our breathing. So as that buck's coming in, or maybe you're standing on the line in Vegas for a big tournament, box breathing. In through the nose for a 4 count, hold for a 4 count, out through the mouth for a 4 count, hold for a 4 count. That will set your breathing from open loop to closed loop. You can control that. And when you do that, you can reduce your heart rate. And once you get below about 160, depending on your physical fitness level, when you keep that heart rate down below 160, we can actually think. We can turn those thoughts into thinking. We can remember our shot sequence and all of those things. So there's box breathing. There's also another technique when you breathe to the top through your nose and then you give it another extra little inhale and then you let that air out of your mouth, and that actually reduces the carbon dioxide in your body. So that's another technique that you can use as that buck's coming in. That inflates extra sacs in your lungs and actually allows you to push more carbon dioxide out of your body, and it reduces the heart rate very quickly so that we can think. So use these breathing techniques to keep ourselves conscious as those deer are coming in, and then we've practiced our success, we've practiced our blueprint over and over and over to the point where it's a principle by which you live. It should be completely out of the blue that you would go open loop on a target. You should have to actually consciously choose to punch a trigger. And it will feel a little bit crazy after you've really gone into the closed loop realm. So don't go out there and practice your own failure. Practice your success. Use your bow for concentration practice instead of just going out there and practicing your shooting and possibly practicing your own failure.